At the beginning of the movie, we see a can of milk powder, and then we hear a vehicle sound. The vehicle hits the rack, and the milk powder falls into it. Someone is controlling it using a remote. We see the streets filled with zombies. The small vehicle enters a cage, and a man named Max lifts the cage. He has been living in this building for months. Before opening the door, he checks outside using the door lens and sees a zombie. He waits there. A minute after the zombie left, he started to move but accidentally stepped on a tube light. He slowly turns to see if that zombie heard this sound. But no. Then suddenly a zombie attacks from his right side. Max cuts that zombie neck with his big knife. The first zombie he saw returns there, and the zombie runs to attack him. Max too started to run. In his way he cuts a rope, and the zombie dies in his trap. And then the movie title card appears. We get to know Max has a baby in this zombie apocalypse. Even surviving alone is very hard, but he has a baby. He is writing a letter for his dead wife. Dear wife, sorry, I have been staying in this building for 186 days. I am unable to get out of this building. They are gathering more and more jams in the building. It seems there are no other survivors except me and the baby. But don't worry, the baby is safe. Max rarely sees a flight. He made a SOS on the building roof. Then he burns that letter so that his dead wife can receive it. One day, as usual, he was using his remote vehicle to collect food, but while lifting the cage, someone stole the cage. He immediately sees through the camera that someone is running with it. Then the girl was caught by a zombie. He then returns to his place. He hears the baby crying, so he boils the water and takes the milk powder, but it is very low. Then he feeds the baby with milk. He is thinking about what he is going to do if the baby gets hungry tomorrow. At night, while he was drinking water, he heard a sound from the speaker. He saw a girl running with a baby from zombies. But when she locks the door, the baby is not in her hands. Max decides to help her. He started to search the room with the help of a torchlight, and then he found the dead body who stole his cage. Then he saw the baby that was attacked by zombies. When he tries to open the door, the girl behind him wakes up as a zombie. When she tried to attack him, they broke the door and entered inside. Max's knife falls to the ground. The girl inside was very scared. Her name is Sarah. The zombie sees to attack Sarah, but Max grabs his leg and turns the zombie head to death. Max tells Sarah to come with him. I won't hurt you. I just need your help. It's not safe here. You have to come with me now. But Sarah is still scared, so he hits her on the head to make her faint, and he takes her to his place. The next day, she wakes up. First she sees the place around and takes a scissor as a weapon. Then she sees Max, and she is ready to attack him. After seeing the baby, she changed her mind. She understood that this was the reason he rescued her. She takes the baby from his hand to breastfeed. Sarah emotionally shares some words. There is no way for the rescue team to save us. Most people were infected, and the survivors were bit by the walkers. Later, she says that I won't let the baby die, but first, mommy needs to eat well or there will be no milk. Max wakes up by hearing Sarah using the water for a bath. He gets angry and scolds her for that. Then they hear the baby crying, and she goes to feed the baby. She used all the water in the fish tank, but there was still some water left in the kitchen. Max is hunting for supplies in the building with his remote vehicle. In a room, he sees a water container. So he wakes up Sarah to come with him to help him. Max uses his remote vehicle to close a door to lock a zombie inside. On their way, the next two rooms have zombies. They close both doors at the same time. Max takes the water container. Sarah finds something, and she tries to hide it. Max takes that out. It was a cigarette box. He throws it outside the window and advises her that you can't smoke when breastfeeding. They heard a flight sound, so they ran to the rooftop to signal them, but it had gone far away without noticing them. Sarah is tired of waiting for the rescue team. She tells Max, we can't wait for them. Let's get out by ourselves. Max stops her by showing down the streets that we can't even move 10 feet from this building. A few days later, they have a walkie-talkie now. Max leaves from there to collect supplies. A food container falls and rolls under the bed. When he tries to take that out, a zombie grabs him inside. A few seconds later, no moment under the bed, Sarah tries to contact him, but no moment in his body. Hours passed, and at night it started raining. The next day, she hears something from walkie-talkie. Max, is that you? Then she hears a zombie screaming. So many questions were running through Sarah's mind. She is thinking about what she is going to do with the baby alone in this zombie apocalypse. So she packs a bag and decides to leave. She left the baby alone in that place. While getting down the steps, she hears the baby crying, and plans something evil. She took the baby with her and carrying the baby in a carry-on bag. She waits there until the zombies move from there, and enters a room and hangs that bag in the ceiling fan. Then she pinched the baby to cry. She did that to distract the zombies, and then she started moving. The zombies were trying to grab the bag. On the next floor, a zombie saw Sarah and chased after her. But the zombie suddenly stops moving after hearing a music. It's coming from a toy. After the music stops playing, the zombie is back to normal, and then someone kills the zombie with an axe. His name is Ben. Max suddenly wakes up after hearing the baby crying. Yesterday, he killed the zombie that tried to attack him, then fainted. He runs to save the baby. Sarah is now with Ben like a hostage. He is beating his two friends for stealing the money from him. Later, he tries to misbehave with Sarah. Then Max enters and fights with him. Sarah falls on the zombie. Max saved her from a zombie bite, but he got bitten by the zombie. Max puts the knife on his neck, and then he starts to beg for his life. Max asks where he is coming from. He says that I came from the camp. Really? I came from a camp not far from here, only 30 kilometers. Max sees his finger turning zombie. They return to their place, and Max cuts his zombie-bitten finger, and then he faints. Max takes a knife and stabs Sarah for what she did, but it was just a nightmare. Max made a good breakfast, and he says hanging the baby in the fan was a good idea. He thinks that she did that to save the baby. Sarah regrets what she did. Max asks, "Do you know when it happened?" The news said, "How long will I be turned after being bit?" Sarah tells us within 72 hours. Then Max removes his shirt to show he has a bit in his back. He has less than 2 days. His plan was to reach the camp within 2 days and send them inside. Sarah got emotional and kissed him. He explains his plan to exit the building. He decides to carry the baby in a suitcase and puts a lot of holes in it for the baby to breathe. He can feel inside that he is slowly turning into a zombie. Sarah couldn't sleep thinking about Max. Later, she got the idea to ask for help from Ben, who knew the place and the route. Max asks, "Do you trust him?" But Sarah has no answer for that. Max is making a cage. Sarah goes to see Ben. Sarah tells Ben to take them there. But Ben, "I can take you there, but why should I help you?" For that, Sarah removes her dress. She tells him to meet them at 6 a.m. near the staircase. On the rooftop, Max burns a letter for his wife. The next day, they are ready to leave. Max locks the baby inside the suitcase. They started to move through the backside staircase, but they could only reach one floor down. The other steps had broken. Sarah sees the time and realizes he cheated on her. On the next floor, Max sets a trap and shouts at a zombie. Then he lifts the cage, tells Sarah to get inside, and gives the suitcase by saying take care of the child, and he locks it. Then he covered the cage and started pushing the cart quickly. If any zombie tries to get near the cage, he cuts them with his big knife. Somehow, a zombie manages to attack the cage. Someone killed the zombie. It is Ben. He asks for forgiveness for being late. All three went into a room and locked the door. They found a small way to escape. Zombies broke the door and entered. Max was caught by zombies in an attempt to help them to escape. Ben grabs the suitcase from Sarah's hand and throws it. This is the reason we are slowing down. But Sarah says she won't leave this place without it. So he got angry and lifted his axe to kill her, and then Max zombie attacked Ben to death. Now Max heads to attack Sarah and the baby. Sarah remembers that a zombie was distracted by music, so she started to sing a song, took his knife, and stabbed Max to death. Later on in her journey, a family saw her and gave her water to drink. They are also heading to the military camp. Sarah joins with them, and with that, the movie ends. Subscribe to our channel to watch more zombie videos like this.